Mr. KD on Hoops, Kelly Dwyer, know him from Chicago Comedy, runs one of the best, I'd say best, maybe the originator of basketball blogosphere. Not blogosphere, but I'll let him explain it. I'm all over the place. Hold on. Let me figure this out. And boom! Yeah.
Hey,
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. I love to see you're already strapped to the guitar. Oh my god, that's so great because I made a. I want to show you something real quick. I made this to promote your newsletter, and I had the guitar with the basketball. I like calling
Oh,
you the
wonderful.
I like calling you the Steely Dan of the NBA, if that's a compliment or not.
Oh, that's that. I'll take that. I'll definitely take it. Better than England Dan and John Ford Coley. Yeah, I'll take that. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm all full of hot licks and rhetoric. I appreciate that.
I love it. Do you feel more comfortable with the guitar and you're around strapped
Yeah, I
into you,
don't know.
kind of?
Don't know what to do with my hands if I don't have it.
Right.
It's completely lost. How do
I
I
like
drink?
that.
Where does it go? I don't know what to do. So yeah, if you don't mind and it doesn't mess with the levels, I'm just going to keep this stock Stratocaster strapped to me.
Yeah. So you're calling it. You calling it from Indiana? Is that right?
Lafayette, Indiana, right in the middle of
Lafayette.
Chicago and Indianapolis. And
Yes.
yeah, it's a beautiful. It's 70 something and sunny, and yeah, it's a nice little town. We dig it.
Fantastic. Now I imagine you will be going to the Pacer game 3 coming up. But I know you like to travel around to just those little Midwest those teams.
Yeah, it's everyone should get out here. The Pacer Arena tickets are like $4.50 a piece. You get like they're giving free hot dogs and sauerkraut away outside. It's real Midwestern. No, I love the Cleveland Arena. The Detroit's Arena is awesome. Big Gordie Howe statue. Bulls Arena doesn't let me in anymore because I wrote so many nasty things about them. But the Bucks Arena, yes, all the time.
That's hilarious. When was that back in your Yahoo days? You do great Bulls content. I mean, I love all of your old content, but you do some great, amazing Bulls content, and that's a shame. They're mad at you,
Oh yeah, but they're mad. They're mad at everyone, and they don't really
right?
know how they're gonna suss it out. But yeah, I was just commiserating with someone about the old Gennaro Pargo game in 2005, and I was on
Yes.
the floor for that game in the media area back when they had media on the floor that wasn't paid for by the team. And
Hmm.
sorry, I had to cover up the hologram Oakland A's upper deck baseball card that was reflecting on my forehead from
I was
Indiana
going to guess
side.
that's what that was. Yeah.
Uh, anyway, yeah, the Bulls hate me, but they hate everyone. They're figuring it out. They're figuring it out, and I'm going to give them some time to work through what they're working through.
Now, what happened with your Pacers? I mean, obviously they went up 2-0, but what happened with that Cavs meltdown? And what's going on with these 20-point meltdowns? And just the thing,
So
why can't
weird.
people inbound the ball?
It's so weird. It must be horrible for you guys. I'm off internet. I'm off Twitter. I'm off all that stuff. I'm watching them like hours later. So I'm just dancing around in my house trying to keep quiet, not to wake up the wife and whoever else the wife brought in, children to llamas that got to sleep. Yeah, it's I've never seen anything like it. Even if it were happening at home, even if it weren't the weirdness of every road team winning, like what is that? Where did that come from? There's
Right.
caveats. There's reasons for all of them, but a lot of those reasons are like, why are they throwing it to the other team? And why did you let the guy dunk it off a free throw? And
Yeah.
when did Isaiah Hartenstein forget how to rebound? It's been a weird week, and I love every bit of it.
Yeah, it's been great, and the playoffs have been great. I know this is your part of your best season. I love when your playoff breakdowns and
Oh, cheers.
going through it all. And the travel, I think, is exciting. You always have great takes, and one of their which is bad for business, by the way, having good sensible takes. I just wanted to remind you. Um,
Sorry.
but the travel schedule, obviously, it's stretched out, and like you're big on that. And I know one of your theories is to have NBA have more of a baseball travel schedule, which I think is genius. And like this kind of does it where people have 3 days off and they can rest a bit. Why don't they do that?
I don't know. They get to keep their 82 games. Everyone gets paid.
Right.
And for us, for me, 3 game series, you're angry at these dudes. At the end of a 3 game series, there's going to be fights. There's going to be intrigue. There's going to be reason to watch the NBA on a
Yes.
Sunday night. After these teams have, I'll tune into Charlotte and the Magic 3 times yeah, put it all in baseball. Put some sort I don't know anything about soccer or anything like that, or barely even hockey, but like put some sort of point
Hmm.
system in there if you want to get goofy. kids love numbers these days. Let them run wild with it. But yeah, keep a team in the same place for 3 times and let them duke it out. And like, you may not get to see Giannis that one time if he's injured, but like, that's also the case for every superstar. Like, there's no guarantees in the NBA anyway, whether these games are spaced out. Steph is going to visit in March or Steph is going to visit in November. It doesn't matter. You still have no idea if you're going to see Steph for myriad reasons. So, put them all in one place and roll the dice. And also, this lets the NBA get to be the big liberal, get out ahead of everything and go, listen, we're cutting off all the air miles. We're getting these jet fuel things out of the air. Look at, get a nice tidy press release that shows all the carbon whatevers we're saving, real 2012 stuff. Just really dig into that. But we saw in the bubble, basketball's better when they get to like rest and not have to be in a plane all the time.
Right.
It's more fun when you don't have to pay attention to whether or not, San Antonio's having to go from Minneapolis to San Antonio on a Friday to Sunday afternoon. It's silliness. It's an old 40s schedule that they had to sneak in between, the same 6 hockey teams and ice capades. And let's figure. These guys are the capitalist geniuses. Why can't we figure out a baseball system? It's redunculous slam dunkulous that it's taken this long to get out of 82 games. People get bored with it. March and April are weird and like impermanent. It's just it's attracting bees. It's what it's doing.
Slam Dunkulous, one of my favorite cereals growing up, by the way. I mentioned it earlier. Let me talk about the Celtics Knicks series with you now, because you also have another great theory or a rule change you wanted to adapt when it comes to 3-point shooting here in the NBA. Because people think it's a problem. Obviously, they do the efficiency and they do the analytics, and they, the Celtics, they missed 46 threes. Oh well, they don't care. Like I said, they're going to shoot just as many tonight. They don't care. Yeah. They just hope to make some more. But you had a great idea to cap it. Is that what your plan was?
Yeah. 33 a game.
33 a game.
I'm honestly, at this point, it's like getting out ahead of they're going to make a 5 or 4 point shot or another bad idea like getting rid of the corner 3. No, don't do that. I think it's fine. This has been the best NBA season in ages. And every year has gotten consistently better since 2001, when NBA was terrible and games were all led by Scott Skiles and Larry Brown, and no one could get over 82 points. I love this league. I'm so much in favor of everyone chucking threes because it's better to get 3 points on a shot you shoot 38% of. It makes sense. But if you cut them off at 33, all of a sudden you're getting the intrigue behind, do we need Luke Mbea Amute? Do we need Pat Connaughton? Do we need TJ McConnell? These iffy shooters. Do we need these people wasting our threes in the second quarter? Secondly, you run out of threes. Oh, well, suddenly we have Michael Jordan, DeMar DeRozan twirling 2-point games in the fourth quarter, which is way more entertaining. So, yeah, I like it because, moving it out, that's not going to do anything. It still counts for an extra point. It's going to decrease the percentages. Going to make ugly basketball. Get a little, I just picked 33 because Larry Bird. Well, why not?
No, it made sense. 8 a quarter, one extra one, right? And let's bring back players yelling at each other for taking threes. You're like, whoa, why'd you waste that 3?
Again, more fights.
Right. It's kind of like the adult softball where they can only hit 20 home runs and they get mad if you hit one with nobody on base or something. Like, no, why'd you waste one of those home runs? 100%. Why'd you waste a 3-pointer? How do you think the rest of that series? Yes. How do you think the rest of that series is going to play out? And is it as hateable as I think it is between those two fan bases, the Celtics and the Knicks?
Well, yeah, goodness. I mean, listen, I got to go for Boston in this because the Knicks are the Knicks, and you just can't get over rooting for the Knicks. But, rooting for Boston when you're not from Boston is a really bad look. So it's a rough series for a lot of us. But it's what you just said. Are they going to hit 23 of their 46 threes, or are they going to hit 8 of them, or whatever these are? It comes down to that, and God bless them. Are they going to hit their jumpers or not since the 40s? That's how basketball is. It just counts for different now. We can go tisk whenever they, it's 46 threes in an NBA game. I was a frog in the pot when that was happening. I was watching and having a good time. I mean, I thought it was notable that they were missing all those threes, but for me, it was just like, okay, these are the Celtics. I'm used to it. They're a better version of what the Bulls tried earlier this year. So I'm okay with it. I'm not against threes. It's just, it's gonna get worse before it's gonna
It's
get worse.
and it's just so funny when they say, you set an NBA record for the most mysteries ever. Like, oh, did we? Yeah, we're probably going to set another one tomorrow. Minnesota, you had to set for most for 2 games. That's funny. They start dying laughing. Like, yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Don't give me a challenge. I'll start. Yeah, I don't have any problem with them doing it because I'm the same guy that railed against the Ron Mercer NBA for years of just stop taking pull-up twos. It's not working. It's not working. So I'm getting what I deserve with this.
We are responsible for it. I like that call.
100%.
The other one is Oklahoma City, Denver. I want to pull up your slide again just because I wanted to show people. Now, it's Katie on hoops. Is what you're right. Fantastic profile picture of old Jack. And that like
at a Clipper game.
That's Jack at a Clipper game?
At a slumming out in Inglewood, yeah.
Oh wow, we were going to say that looked like prime Forum Club days, like things were going on back there.
The sports arena, wherever that was.
Yeah,
no, that's him visiting the Clipper arena and delighting. And it's I can't tell what the protein is, but the Coke has got to be there. It's the 80s.
One thing I love about your newsletter, I mean, obviously, you're an NBA historian in my mind. You mix the old with the new, with comedy, music, everything. But your slides, your screenshots. Do you have a library? That is this on your? I mean, does this come from just the KD database, or you have? Yes. I mean, I would love to see these folders. They're incredible. I mean, who gets this for a Warriors Wolves? Now, half of this is my kindergarten circa Canva display, but you get a Donnie Nelson here for the Warriors T Wolves. You got this is one of my favorites. You get these starting lineups always get me. I mean, who doesn't want to see a Joe Wolf, Orlando Woolridge thing when you talk about Nuggets?
Phil Jackson's handwriting on the board. Is that what that is? He kind of he's an assistant at the time, and he kind of ran out of room for the aggressiveness. But I mean, I feel if I'm going to be watching these games. Yeah. I gotta take these screenshots, and they give a nice little sort of. I'm speaking of 2012. I'm still stuck on the little vaporwave thing, so you have to pardon me in my stasis. I just love the way they look. I'm getting to watch all the old games I had to go to bed for when I was a kid, so I'm up watching them now, and let's take some snips.
That's great. So is that what you're just constantly watching old games late at night when you're letting the baby go to sleep and all that?
It's great. You get to watch the last night's games whenever you want, scoot around and watch the gorilla suit throwing the t-shirt cannon in the crowd, and then until the NBA knocks them off, you just type Nuggets Clippers 1992 into YouTube and just bring up all sorts of old Corona ads. I love it.
Yeah, NBA in-game entertainment has always been good. Now it's too much of an over-sensory kind of thing where they don't let you have a moment off, as you know. It's just for house music and just blasting you in the face with T-shirts. But back then, they put a little panache to it, back when it was fun. I think. What did you think?
I lose all my League Pass as a feature that if you can turn off the ads and just watch the scoreboard feed at halftime. So it's just nonstop t-shirt cannon, and it's irrepressible. I can't get enough of it. Anytime I'm over at someone's house and I watch a game of commercials, I immediately get on the internet and start complaining about like Will Ferrell selling out. Like I turn into a grouch when I'm at home watching League Pass and seeing these beautiful families raise their child up in the air with the big expensive headphones, and I just imagine that they're listening to like chill lo-fi beats. It's the greatest, and I can't wait to. I encourage everyone to go out and get the League Pass. It'll make you you'll feel better about the constant stream of, like, if you listen to the Cleveland games and you're an old Bulls fan, it's the same recording of defense. It's the same. It's these cans. Maybe it's a union thing. Maybe if that's the case.
Chill lo-fi beats. I like one of those old games too, and you realize how different like the rules are too. Like that's what I think it's funny about the NBA. How they'll change the rule like mid-season. Like illegal offense. Oh, you don't like that? All right, illegal defense. Whatever it is. 3 free throws to make 2. It's fun. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot they used to do that.
It's super proactive. It's only been around, as it's as old. The league as old as someone's parents. It's just I'm not going to get too precious about it. They put a big strip on the floor 40 years ago, and it completely changed the game. So why not do some extra silly stuff? I just know, just as long as we keep AI out of it for the next 2 to 3 years, I'm hoping to get to the 2030s before the Adam Silver AI press conference. But it's the NBA. We're fun and ahead of it, so we'll see.
Absolutely. I have to ask you real about these Oklahoma City Thunder Nuggets there and the end of that last game, as you said, Hardenstein missing. But my thing is with the fouling up three there. They did it way obviously they did it, I think way too early. Like to the numbers, like they're like even if Chet Holmgren makes those two free throws, they're gonna foul him immediately and like do it 5 more times. And then they burn all their timeouts and they have to advance at half court, which is obviously a dangerous situation. Then they were out of timeouts once Gordon hits that three, so they couldn't advance it, like from doing all this nonsense.
I think the advantage of only going for fouling when you're in that situation was kind of again like a 15 years ago thing when no one had the guts to kind of try it. I remember being at a finals game in 2009 and we're like, why didn't the Magic foul when they're up 3? Now everyone does it. You got these games that go on for these last 2 minutes of games that go on for 90 minutes because it's like streamlined. It's 2-minute drills in the NFL. It's like they
crazy.
All have plays for it. They all have. Can we why aren't we doing this the whole game? Where did all these layups come from? It's an interesting dynamic. They'll figure it out. They're not encumbered by suits anymore, these coaches. So they're all wearing track suits and they can just on their feet for
that
once.
Is funny. Now you did rant. You do miss belts on head coaches from your last time. I remember I read.
I forgot I wrote that. I do.
No, it's great.
I miss slacks and belts and I don't. Listen, I understand it's a big budget, and I understand they're not all making bank, and you get 10 to 15 assistant coaches these days. But I don't want to see. I'm more of a Dan Reeves guy. I don't want to see them all gussied up and like the latest finery of no polyester, no.
And there's nothing better than a stress coach ripping the tie and ripping the blazer off, throwing on an assistant, and putting it back on and then like stripping down. It's like me at a wedding, like as it goes on, like the tie gets loosened, the jacket comes off,
Brown's first game coaching in 20 years in 2004 or 5 or whenever that was with the Grizzlies, he took off his coat midway. He's like, when I was coaching, we just didn't have a coat. And it just like they had to fine him after and go, no, it's the 21st century, and we're doing that. Yeah, I just like to think like Jerry Sloan was fined like silently $25 per game for having that top button on his tie undone. Like every game, he's just like, I just write a blank check. I'm not going to top that top button. Bring it back. All these coaches, and it's a weird. I don't like seeing anyone dressed in the same outfit. It's just an odd thing unless they're slam dunking.
Yeah, you should be able to point out who the coach is for sure. Now, Oklahoma will win that series. I'm right about that. Please tell me that. Or if
rebounding. I mean, they got Dallas's big butt knocked them over last year. Is Denver's big butt. Oklahoma City fouls a lot. Like that wasn't an aberration. They fouled the heck out of teams this year and just were like, so what? Call it. It's a steal or a foul. We're going to take our chances. So like was what Jokic did the other night annoying and kind of bogarting? Sure, but like what's to stop him doing it for 3 more times in 6 games? I can't. I'd stop tinkering with the lineups. I love Alex Caruso, but why mess with a good thing? I like you said, I'd stay big and wait for the Peyton Watsons and Michael Porter Jr.'s to have a bad game. It's going to take 2 weeks, so it'll probably pay out. But also on Denver's side, why not?
That's a good point. Peyton Watson did have a nice game there, and you turned me on to Alex Caruso as far as the really loving everything he does defensively and how upset you were obviously when the Bulls got rid of him for no draft picks. You don't need a draft pick. We're not
and a commitment to pay someone $30 million a year that may not be an Australian.
Yeah, right. And I also love when you talk about Dave Adelman, the coach of the Denver Nuggets, when you're like, he was probably thinking, I'll get my first job maybe next summer, get a draft, go through this. Not like, oh, hey, run these playoffs against the Thunder. You're dropped right in the middle of the fire. The week to go. Amazing.
Hey, you're going to be the first coach to ever do this. Go ahead. Have some fun with it. 3 games. They're going to be talking for the rest of the playoffs, no matter how many games good. You could be in the finals, and they'll be like, it's his 18th game coaching. So deal with that. Have fun with that. And also, try not to make a fool of yourself asking for free throws. And
now they're playing up Jokic in the huddle to animated like he's coaching, like he's drawing up things. I know it is great.
Draymond had the another advantage of the League Pass scoreboard thing is you can sneak in the huddles and watch the dynamic of what's going on, which is great. Draymond Green had the was drawing up plays all last night. It was marvelous. That guy. Speaking of irrepressible, that's great.
You gotta think deep down. Draymond loves like not Curry being out, but like when he is the show, and he was shooting those first 4 threes. It seemed like out of pure hate. He was just like throwing them in there, going in there. He's been amazing. I compare him. Yeah, I compare him to the way he just like continues to like hit people and all these things. Like he's like Wesley Snipes' character in Demolition Man, where he just can't believe in his era no one's fighting back. Like he's got the only guns, and he's like, oh, I guess I could just keep kicking these people in the face, and I'm not gonna get tossed out. It's incredible.
No one's saying anything.
Yeah, no one's gonna do anything.
He's got the trick. He's got the trick, and he's got this. He's fooling us all because like once the big giant Frenchman shows up, I'm just gonna take it, blow everyone's mind. Mind blown.
It amazes me how much I feel like people hate Rudy Gobert. Not like his teammates, opponents, everyone. It just seems like that. Even when he does good, like all right, I told you did okay today, but it's still the second something goes bad for him. Like you know what I mean? Like he just
6 of 7 shooting. Really?
Right.
What's wrong with that? And roll that off the rim.
Yeah. You can guard Luka out there to 3 with the game on the line. Now I'm 7'3". Why am I out here? How about you stop switching?
Do you ever see Kareem guarding Larry Bird at the end of the games? No.
Right. No. Yeah, that's not a thing.
The precedent that had to be told where like Hakeem had to come out and mess with Jordan, and that was just how he, earned his stripes. No, switch. Call it out. There's a screen. Let me know.
Right.
I'm still under 7 feet.
Before my highlight forever. Oh, man.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah. Speaking of Luka Doncic, Kelly Dwyer, KD on Hoops. The great KD on Hoops, I should say. I'm talking to KD on Hoops. Make sure you subscribe at kdonhoops.com. Follow him on Blue Sky at KD on Hoops. Just wanted to remind people on that. One of the great basketball writers, comedy writers. I call you even a comedy writer. That's how much I enjoy your column. Like sometimes I'll repeat some of your lines, like your John Morant line killed me. Where you're like, he's throwing hand grenades into a paying audience. You're like, I repeat, a paying audience, and he's launched his own, right? His own fans.
The difference between like a club comic and someone who's paying theaters, and all of a sudden, like Nikki Glazer goes out and just starts chucking hand grenades, and that's your thing. No, they're all there to see you.
Yeah, he gives them the hits.
That's going to take a summer to work itself out, I think, in Memphis. That's something else.
Yeah, that is something else.
You know what I'm thinking about above everything else right now? What am I gonna do to follow up on this old gun thing? I'm not allowed to do guns. So like, we're gonna try to work on the best team in the NBA, and you think about the big flame gun like your Hank Scorpio or something for your next one.
It was
he's
great.
A bummer.
Yeah, he is a bummer, but it was great how he pointed out the absurdity of that. No guns, okay? How about this? None of that. Like that's just how ridiculous it is. I have an air rifle, whatever it is.
Yeah, come on. We've moved on to trench warfare. Come on, keep up.
One of your other funny lines is out here because after the Luka Doncic thing, there was a little cut back. Like, that justified the trade, which is obviously crazy. And one of your lines was like, "Slow down. Max Christie had more playoff minutes than Anthony Davis." So let's not like talk about the actual trade itself. But your take on Mark Cuban was great. Not even just and his responsibility for this. I remember when Mark Cuban first sold. A year ago, I guess it was, these people in your column on that, like how awful it is to bring these people into the NBA. Like, so we knew something was coming, just not this bad.
Yeah, listen, he gave the Adelsons access into the money making machine that is the NBA, and that to me is, it's one thing to do that, and then you get on Blue Sky, and to get on Blue Sky is a bit of a signal in the first place, and then try to act like you're the champion of MSNBC. No, not buying it, and then going and arguing with like Facebook people about like I wasn't allowed to. I had no say in personnel. No, you got beat. You got trampled by the guy that traded Luka Doncic. Like you were housed out of your own team. The NBA would have done cartwheels to try to keep you in charge and keep that at the look at us. We have a billionaire that's also that knows his second round picks. No, he's got a whole generation of writers like me. I remember emailing with him about Etan Thomas before the draft when he took Etan Thomas. Like he's got all of us primed to kind of be at his feet with this stuff, and I'm not feeling it. I'm not there for that. Adelson's or no, sell it to the Koch family or Nevco. Who's the other one? Soros. Sell him to Soros, he says. No, I don't care what, but just to have that. And don't try to play us on that they wouldn't let me in on the Doncic trade. The Mavericks wouldn't let you in because they didn't want you around anymore for whatever reason. A bad move on their end. The whole thing is nuts. It's a story because they traded him for no draft picks. It's a story because they traded a 25-year-old superstar who does that. It's a story because they traded him for a 32-year-old who does that. It's a story that they didn't negotiate with any other teams who does that. It's a story that's just so many Nico gates in there, and he got left out of all of them because he couldn't outwit the guy from Nike that only had a job because Cuban gave him a job. He couldn't handle the sneaker guy that traded for Max Christie and Anthony Davis's throbbing midsection. Just poor Dallas. I mean, who that's like the Colts going to leaving Baltimore. That's like what. That's never happened. It's like Kareem got traded because he couldn't get good jazz albums in Milwaukee, or like Shaq wanted to. Shaq could have made all those terrible movies in Florida. He was ready to stay in Orlando and not pay taxes and gets a jet ski in his backyard and have the time of his life. He's having steel come to him. Right? It's just phenomenal misses by these owners. And then Patrick Dumont, the owner of the Mavericks, goes out and says, you got to have a guy who's committed to conditioning like Shaq, who, he went from everything to nothing. They kicked the Thunder's butt this year when Kyrie was in the lineup, when Luke was in the lineup. They kicked the Thunder's butt last year in the playoffs. They were the key to having the Thunder be out of the playoffs, and now they're gone. They're gone. They should roll.
That was my whole basis on being the Thunder. I'm like, wow, okay, if they're going to trade their one problem that they had, just trade it away in the middle of the night, then I mean, it's just hilarious. And Nico Harrison is just hilarious because they keep giving him the opportunity. So was the owner's not going to pay him? Like, no, that wasn't it. Just me. I personally just didn't want I wanted too much hookah and dinner rolls, to be honest with you. That's all it was.
No, I'm just gonna lose any chance I ever had at ever having another job and just get out of it in the worst way. And it's great because these things have been revealed. Like, we know Daryl Morey. These men are geniuses. Like Nico Harrison, these big striking executives that are going to come in, and that's great. That's great that they have these clothes not there on the Emperors, and we should take advantage and point it out every possibility, and God forbid, maybe give these jobs to different people.
I mean, but is that his punishment? Should he have to stay there though and watch for the next 10 years and do those facial 100%. Reactions and become a meme? I mean, he can't be fired. That's too easy for him.
No, you gotta do that and take your money and
all right.
Stands and do that, and prove the defense wins championships, and go sign I don't know, is Damari Carroll still playing? I mean, go find some 3-and-D guys around Spencer Dinwiddie. And we'll see you back in the mid '80s.
Bring Caleb.
25-year-old superstar of the next decade, and you're like, no, we don't want any draft picks cluttering our cap sheet moving forward. We can't have that uncertainty. Oh, what a mess.
Defense wins championships. That was hilarious. Like, what are you just going to read these greeting card, like motivational poster slogans? Like, since when does this happen? Oh, man. Well, KD on Hoops, I want to thank you for joining me. I was very excited to have you on here. Like I said, I'm a big fan of your column and everything else that you've done from a long time ago, from years ago back in the Chicago comedy scene. I've known you forever for that. You're a supporter of that. It's great music, kid. I remember when, don't get me wrong, I remember Deadspin, the good Deadspin, obviously, they put you in some kind of top list, and they made some kind of comment about your music. You took it with a good sense of humor, but I'm like, this is why I really like KD. He's like, they were like,
oh God, I forgot all about that. Yeah, no, I don't know. It wasn't some kind of list. It was the worst people on Twitter or something like that.
Worst people on Twitter. Yeah, I mean, that's what Deadspin does. Yeah. To me, that's the best.
They go. It was like, this guy's like like a jerk you find at a record store. That's exactly what.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I try to be nice. Try out humble pie, kids. But no,
that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, Sports Illustrated just put out like their top 100 Twitters, and it was just and I was part of that. So it was
okay.
Pop.
That's
they
funny.
nailed it. That's been always it.
They are well. Then they crown. Well, whatever. We don't have to get into that. I could talk music with you, but we have to go. I love your Steve Albini takes too, by the way. Follow KD on Hoops at Blue Sky. And tell everyone out there, tell all the C-generates, what's the best way to subscribe and get as much KD on Hoops as possible.
It's just go to KDonHoops.com, and if you like what you see, chip in. And if you need another month, come around in a month. We're going to be here all summers, all sorts of old 90s NBA stuff we all planned, and we're going to be bouncing around the Midwest, Indianapolis, and Cleveland here in the next week. Subaru willing, and love to see you there.
Fantastic. And your year-round content's even better. Like your off-season stuff is great too because of your rich history of all the hilarious stuff of the old NBA stuff. So I recommend it for everybody. KD, I appreciate it. And have fun Have fun with your Pacers.
I promise. Take care, guys.
All right, buddy. There it is. KD on Hoops with a long and extended session on the Bottom Line Bombs. Let me switch off the captions there. That was like I said.